Any particular area you'd like to address first with both of our audiences?
I think, well, first of all, I'm just so thrilled to be here with you, Denzel, because
Yeah.
you are somebody who literally, when my husband and I were at just a point where we weren't sure what our next move was, we had received an unexpected $10,000 IRS bill. We had been working so diligently, almost over, well, several years, trying to dig ourselves out of some debt and doing the debt snowball and things in that regard, and came upon this unexpected bill with stuff with my husband's business. So that's a whole nother story. But when we received that, it just put me in particular in a real downward spiral, because I was so focused on paying down debt and we were gaining some traction. And then it just kept feeling like more debt was coming our way, as every time we would try to pay down something, then it was like it was right back to us. And so I went into a dark space for a couple of days in the beginning of 2019. And after that, I just said there has to be a different strategy. And being a believer and just somebody who prays, I kind of just literally had a come to Jesus moment and was like, please show a new way. And I wasn't a big YouTube person at the time. I had listened to a lot of podcasts, but I went in and I just started searching different ways to kind of run your money. And at that time, when I found you, I think you had 2,000 followers. It was the beginning of 2019, and I just consumed your videos for a whole month, and then set up a time to meet with you. And it was surreal. I remember being in my education job at the time. I was a teacher aide at that time. And I remember on my lunch break scheduling the time to talk with you and kind of get the ball rolling for us. And it was just surreal. Like, I'm talking to this guy I've been watching, and I'm a lot older than you. So just this, the whole thing was just like, it felt surreal. But it was an answer to prayer. And it was just what our family needed to help us get the traction and, yeah, just get the ball rolling in a different way for us. And we were able to see success pretty quickly. So,
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. And it's been a blessing on my end. In the beginning it was just for most of my relationships that I have with clients are just purely transactional, coming with a problem, here's the solution, here's the
Yeah.
strategy. And over time I start to get to know more things about my clients and like where they want to go and the different ideas that they have. And it's typically not something that I'm like saying that I'm good at solving for, but like it's pretty cool that once we build the foundation and we're like in alignment, okay, we know our numbers, we have our credit, we have our debt tool, we're chunking, we're paying off these bad debts, we're looking at opportunities in the marketplace to invest once we're either out of these specific debts or completely out of debt, right? And so it's really been a blessing on my part to see you get all those early achievements, right? And get
Mhm.
past those early obstacles to now have conversation on, increasing income, starting a business. How do we want to impact others? Who do we want to help? Who do we want to serve? And so I remember just way back your earliest desires to start a business, to want to help people, and like just kind of bouncing random ideas, and now we're at a point where it seems like we're building a new foundation in a totally
Mhm.
different aspect of business and how it integrates with your life and the different things that you want to do, and how velocity banking has really helped that all along the way to like really make that possible, or at least see where the road is leading to, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm like at that point I'm like, oh wow, like I'm seeing the fruit come to life.
Yeah,
And
the
this is a
impact you've
prime example.
had.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because, sometimes we expect when we're planting our seeds, like I feel like I've kind of watched your garden grow, right? I've watched your seeds that have been planted grow. And it's been, you're just a real legit dude. You are a person of integrity. I trust what comes out of your mouth. I've followed you for 4 or 5 years now. this is not the get rich quick scheme, thing like
Not
that,
at
where,
all.
not at all. It takes discipline, it takes determination, it takes being wise, all of those things. And so I've just appreciated watching you grow and watching the seeds that you planted, that it took time. It wasn't an overnight success for you, right? But you've been so diligent in, watering and tending to your people that have come your way and really pouring so much into us. And I, from the bottom of my heart, just say thank you, because it truly has changed me from the inside out, and it's changing our family tree and what we're going to be able to do with our family. Just you taking the time to teach this, and now just my educator heart, like when you find something that's worked and that can help other people. I That's where I struggled for a while, because I'm like, I don't know if I want to teach velocity banking.
Hmm.
It's kind of difficult. Denzel's so good at it. Like I feel like it can be difficult, but I was just like, but it's helped us, and I know that I can break it down to a way that people can understand and figure out how to do this strategy, with some mentoring and coaching, because it does take that accountability piece, in this strategy for sure.
Love it. So for my audience, and yours as well, like you mentioned, found me around 2019. How long were we doing velocity banking for, right? What were the results, right? What, if you can recall, like just general
Yeah.
estimation results on that? And then at what point, or was it certain videos that I was, planting, these early seeds on, hey, let's start a business, or hey, let's do this? Like, was it a specific video, or was it simply the timeline of velocity banking, just kind of like how that strategy evolves into new things, where you were like, okay, I'm ready to look at building a business for myself, walking away from, this career, this job, and into my life's purpose, or really maybe you were already in your purpose, but it was a pivot
Mm-hmm.
where you can solve for greater impact. So give us that little timeline there, the results, and then where did it like
Yeah.
transition, around what year?
Okay, so 2019, when we found you, like I said, we had just acquired a $10,000 IRS debt. We had $40,000 of my husband's student loans. And we had bought a house in 2016. So we actually, man, if we would have known this concept back in 2010, 11, we would not have had to go through our short sale, which
Yeah.
this is a way, with our economy kind of the way it is now, there are people who are sitting on a home equity line of credit, but they are not utilizing it in the way that velocity banking teaches.
Right.
So backing up in 2008, we had owned our first home. We bought it in like 2002. We moved from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio. We bought a ranch style home. We had renovated it. We had our first, all three of our kids there actually in this home. And 2008, we had just refinanced and got into an interest only loan, which was from a faith-based organization and was helping us free up cash flow so that we could pay down debt. But unbeknownst to us, I didn't do enough research, and the interest only loan portion, well, we know what happened in 2000. Yes. So all of the cash flow we thought we were going to have only paying interest was wiped out. And
Right.
so we found ourselves both in private Christian education, barely making a one-person income and having a mortgage payment that we actually could still afford to pay. But in the midst of that, my husband's job got cut in half. So he was already only making like $22,000 a year. We have three kids, two at this point. No, three. We had our three kids at this point, and then his part-time job was, well, salary was going down even more, and so we had to kind of draw a line in the sand. And we had a home equity line of credit, but see, we were seeing it as a loan, as a payment. We weren't
Hmm.
seeing it as a way to use it like our checking account. So if we would have known this, we could have maybe saved that as a rental and moved on, and had our first income property, because it would have been a really good rental. But can't go back to the past and change it. But man,
Right.
those are some people right now that might be in a similar situation, that have a home equity line of credit sitting there, but they're seeing it as another debt payment. They're not
Right.
seeing it as a debt weapon. And so So then fast forward, we ended up having to rent, and we're in our mid 30s. So this was a very humbling time. Okay. So we were doing the debt snowball method during this time. We moved from owning a home, going through a short sale, going to a rental where we thought we'd be for about 2 years. Well, my husband was a PE teacher and he did painting on the side. So every summer when he was off, he would do painting with a guy from our church. He had built a business. And so, long story short, teaching positions were not opening up for my husband. And so we just kind of looked at each other and were like, look, this painting, you can make whatever you want to make. If we start marketing and you start going out and building up this business, the sky's kind of the limit there. So we ended up being in our rental 3 more years because, as you know, when you're starting a business, in order to get a mortgage, you have to show 2 to 3 years of solid business income,
Right.
which took more time. So our
Hmm.
rental situation went from 2011 until 2016, where we were able to get on a pretty good steady ground there. And we saved like $30,000 over that time. My husband built up his business. We went and bought our home, which is a whole nother awesome story. But long story short, we didn't even go through a realtor. We found, like, put a letter on the door type of thing and got the home that we moved into. Okay, so that was 2016. We had taken that money that we had saved and we renovated the home at that time. And so our mortgage pretty much stayed what it was. So I think when we met you, our mortgage was like at 216,000, maybe roughly somewhere around then. I have these numbers somewhere. I probably should have pulled them out, but I think it was around $216,000.
Yeah.
And we owed the $40,000 in my husband's student loans. And we had that big $10,000 IRS bill. And I remember I saw recently, I know when we first started, the numbers were around like 298,000 total debt that we owed at that point.
I'm
So I'm
actually
missing
looking
some.
right now to
Are
see.
you? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to see if I can. This is a spreadsheet from January 24th, 2019,
Okay.
and let's see if it shows it on here. Okay, yeah. So total debt $298,320
Oh,
and
look at
twenty
that.
dollars 77
Okay.
cents. You've had
Yes.
the IRS debt, student loans. We've had credit card debt, a uh,
It is.
a lease, and so the home mortgage was 205 539
Oh,
84.
okay. So we had,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, so then when we had bought the home, okay, I think we bought it at 216, so that would make sense because from
right,
2016 and 2019, you can see we only paid down. I mean, it's still not terrible, but
right.
now that we know that velocity banking, how much faster, man, we could pay that down.
Yeah,
So, um, so we were right away in the first month that we worked with you, because we had, I think, 4,000 in savings. I don't, yeah, 4,000 in savings. And then we took that, we had gotten approved for a $39,000 HELOC at a very low rate for this first few months. And so we took that $4,000, we paid off that IRS debt, chunked that back in there. And then we also, on our second chunk, what you scheduled for us to do was to pay off. My husband had two separate student loans. One of them was a bigger payment and one was a very a smaller payment. And that we actually we still have that one because it's so minuscule and our mindset has shifted so much now that we're okay with that. I think there's 19,000 left. So we had the second chunk you had us do after the IRS debt was, I think it was $21,000 to one of those student loans. So we wiped that out. So I think by that summer, we had kind of recouped that money just doing velocity banking from like February, March, April, May, June. With my husband being a painter, his income, we spread it out over the year now, but we know the summer months he gets some more jobs that we can just put chunks in, to the home equity line. So that's what we did, which kind of helped us pay that down faster over the summer months. And then we started doing some chunks towards our mortgage. So at that
Around
point,
where are we at now in the timeline?
this is
This is
probably 20, golly, it's so crazy to think
I
that
know.
this was right before COVID.
Right before
I'm like,
COVID. Yeah, yeah,
wow,
yeah. Yeah.
right before COVID, which, oh my goodness. So, yeah, well, okay, so we probably started doing some chunks towards our mortgage at the beginning of 2020.
Yep, because
And
I
then we
have
had to
on
put a pause on that. Yeah, go ahead.
I remember. So I think yeah, I'm looking at I think 2020 it looks like we're starting to either attack the mortgage or plan to start hitting on the mortgage.
Mhm.
And then I think
Yeah.
around 2021 is when we moved into infinite banking, right? Or
Yeah, well, we ended up,
we ended
we
up
did
not.
not pull that.
Right, right, right. We didn't pull the
Yes,
trigger. Right, right,
because,
right.
yeah, we did
Okay, so
not
before we
do
get ahead
that.
of ourselves,
Yeah,
stick
I
stick
know.
to
Okay.
the so
So,
so we're right
yeah.
before pandemic, right? We've wiped out IRS debt at this point. Majority of the student loan debt, whatever credit card debt, and you're pretty much rocking and
Yep.
rolling with the home equity line of credit at the 39,000. Do you remember what the interest rate was at
Yep.
the time? I'm pretty sure they were much lower
I
then.
Yeah, they were. I think like our fixed rate, like I think our intro rate was like 1.99% if I remember, and then it went up to around 4, no more than 5% at that
Right.
point. But still, once you know the simple interest formula,
Yeah.
right? It was
You're
like,
never
okay,
paying
well,
whatever
look at
the
how.
rate. Yeah.
Yes, so that was like, oh, that's no, it's so much easier. And then what this really did for us, Denzel, which this is where I didn't realize how much of a mind shift I was going to have using this strategy. Because before, like my husband, we never fully kind of got on board together with the snowball method. We had gotten very disciplined. We knew how much our expenses were and all of that. But it had gotten to a point where I was so focused on paying down debt that I wasn't really living anymore. And it kind of put really honestly a strain on our marriage where we went through some bumps because of that. My husband, he's a very hard worker. He owns his own painting company, so he works long hours in the summers. And he just felt like when he would get this money and then it would just go to debt and we never could see it again, it wasn't very motivating for him. And I kind of didn't get that because I was just so focused on, well, we got to get out of debt. We got to get out of debt.
Hmm.
And um, and so what this allowed us to do was when he saw, okay, he made an extra, let's say 7 grand. Well, when we had paid off debt, now that debt is going away and he's seeing half of his student loan went away in one fell swoop. Now we have to recoup that. But now that money's going back into the HELOC and we have access to that money
Access.
again.
Hmm.
So that was the game changer shift where he just fully got on board. He was like, oh my goodness. Now it started to click for the both of us, right?
Hmm.
And it was just like that more abundant mindset versus that scarcity, which I was so focused on never having enough. And it has brought this freedom to say, you still have to be wise and live within your means. And of course, all of those things, right? But for example, then COVID hit 2020. My husband is a employed painter. We had another guy that works with us. We didn't know were jobs going to come in. I'm an educator, I'm in teaching, so I knew my paycheck was steady and I moved to online teaching with all the other educators at that point. But my husband's business, we didn't know. Are people going to have you in your home to paint? Like, he's probably not going to have business. And this was the first time, like, we realized the power of this because we had almost full access to our home equity line at that point.
And
We
that
had gotten it paid down.
buys you time.
So
Yeah.
we didn't, yeah, it bought us time. So we were like, okay, well, we have almost how much of emergency fund? I think at that point our expenses were like under 5 grand. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I mean, we were talking, we had at least 6 months. If we had to
Hmm.
live off of that, we were able to.
Hmm.
And thankfully, I think it was just about 3 weeks to a month that he didn't really have business. And so it was like this little tiny hiccup, which before would have put us in this downward spiral, like how are we even going to feed our family type of thing, right?
Right.
So it really has it really freed us in our mindset to say, okay, we're okay. We'll get through this. We'll weather the storm like everybody else. And then blessings came, right? Like the PPP things and different things that ended up benefiting us as a small business owners. So we were able to kind of not really see a loss during that time.
Love it, love it. Yeah, and I think the other, uh, I don't want to say the magical part of velocity banking, but there's this unintended reward in the midst of crisis. When crisis does hit, whether we like it or not, whether no matter how much money we save, there's gonna be times in everyone's life, those who are watching, that are catching this recording, there's gonna be some type of obstacle that no money can solve, or you're
Mm-hmm.
just not going to have the capital. And so you're going to be in a position where you have to borrow. That might be from friends and family. That might be from a credit card. That might be from a bank and a loan, or some type of situation. And so what velocity
Mm-hmm.
banking shows you how to do is not only pay off debt really fast in good times where income is flowing in and you're cash flowing, but also in bad times you can become an effective borrower. So let's say you're in a position where you're like, hey, I don't have an option, I have to borrow. Well, now if I got this, $39,000 HELOC, you know how to withdraw funds little by little by little by little to just cover
Oh,
expenses, keeping
yep.
all the same habits that we learn from the seven baby steps and Dave Ramsey and just frugal living. Keep all of those in place because you have to in a
Mm-hmm.
crisis type of a situation, rather than where most people will go out and get like a big $10,000 loan or a $20,000 loan, and it's deposited right into your account. So now it feels like a windfall of cash. And a lot of us don't
Mm-hmm.
realize how costly that is in the long run. You're trying to solve a short term problem with a big loan, so to speak, rather than having the big loan, but not having to use it all. Right. And in your
Mm-hmm.
case, it was only
Having
a three
access,
week,
yeah.
right. In your case, it was only a 3 week, 1 month type of a hiccup. I've had so many other clients over
Yeah.
the years where it was 3, 6, 9 months of slow, or one spouse, like you mentioned earlier, losing half the income or getting laid off or furloughed or fired even, and like the amount of time it bought them on top of having whatever emergency savings, it was
Mm-hmm.
that unintended like reward that came with it. So that's just one of those unique things about velocity banking. Once you expand your mindset on the conversation of debt itself and using debt and paying it off or having it, leveraging it, that kind of case. So yeah, great job there. So
Mm-hmm.
now we're in COVID, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
we're a couple months in now, had a little hiccup, but then recovered. And what's going on at this point? Now we're fully focused on the mortgage at this point in COVID season.
Yeah, we did. We chunked that down to about 186, I think,
Yep, I
and
saw
then
it.
we
Mhm.
started. Yep. So this was the other thing, and I'm sure there's some older parents, well, that have. We were just never at a spot where we were able to put money aside for college for our children,
Mhm.
and so our oldest daughter is in her freshman year of college. So that was something that used
In
to keep me up at
2020.
night because I'm like, no, sorry, this year is her
Okay,
first year. So,
2023. Okay.
yeah. So what I'm saying is 2020, we started to kind of look at things differently. Like, because now we knew how to use velocity banking and watching some more and more of your content, and being entrepreneurs and just in our spirit, right? My husband owns his own company. I've had this entrepreneurial spirit. Like those who know me and watching this, the Lord only knows how many businesses I've tried to do and sell Mary Kay and all types of different things, right? But anyway, so we started to say, okay, we can take this and how can we 10x our money? How can we begin to leverage
Okay.
the access we have, right? How can we begin to do that? So that kind of started shifting, and I would say we kind of got through 2020, paid down our mortgage to that amount. Oh, then this is what happened. I totally forgot about this. We got into the all-in-one loan.
Okay, yes.
So
Gotcha.
that's what we did.
Boom.
Instead of doing
Yeah.
infinite banking, I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing. We got into the all-in-one loan. So that took some time to understand and really wrap our head around that. Um, and so we did that for all, I guess that would have been 2021, just up until recently, because we actually in January of this year just closed on what we would say is our dream home. And so it is a mile from our old house. So we went from renting, right, in
Uh-huh.
2011
Hmm.
to, oh no, renting from 2011 to 2016, moving a mile from that rental into that home, and now another mile away into a bigger home that is all in the same neighborhood, like same school district, all of that. We just wanted some more space so I could have an office, and we're still renovating, getting kind of things ready.
Yeah.
But we just had this vision. It was on our vision board that we wanted, kind of our dream home.
When did you
So
make that
we are
vision
here.
board?
Well, we've made several, but this one was in just this last summer of 2022.
Wow, so it
Summer of
manifested
2022.
that fast. Wow.
Yeah, that
So,
this story was uh, phenomenal. So
wow,
yes,
wow. Okay, so we're so 2020,
no, it's all over.
we're paying off debt. By 2021, we get the all-in-one loan, which is like a first lien HELOC and a very unique type of a product. We basically moved that whole 180,000 whatever was owed plus closing costs, and it's now in the all-in-one. What was the credit limit that you got for the all-in-one, and what was owed at the time? Do you remember? And this is 2021 now. And again, this is where the shift occurred. So for those that are watching, usually it's velocity banking, pay off debt really fast, increase cash flow, get your credit up, know your numbers, personal financial management, right? Getting the foundation, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half goes by. So from 2019 to mid 2020 and then in 2021. So, yeah, a good 2 year window of just debt elimination. And then we start to
Mm-hmm.
shift towards 10x our income, expansion, abundant mindset. Very, very cool how
Mm-hmm.
adaptive the concept is for us, all while simultaneously continuously paying off debt via the all in one loan. So, what was owed and what was the credit limit, if you remember?
The credit limit I think that we got for the full access was 265. I was trying to remember, it's
That makes
255
sense.
or 265.
Yeah.
I think it was 265
Because I remember in my
that we
notes here,
had.
you said
So
the
it went
value of
from
the
like,
home was like 280 or
yeah.
something like that. So yeah,
So it went from, um, let's see, we had a $39,000 HELOC to now we had access to like 70 or 80,000 or something like that. With the all in one, which we know with the 66% rule, we wouldn't use all of that, but
right.
that's what we had available.
Hmm.
Um, so, so yeah, so we did that, and that was 2021. I believe that happened that summer of
Yeah,
2021. So we had then paid down the mortgage to 186 with some of the costs and things that went into that. I think when all was said and done, we had like 195 was the balance after we
okay,
had, I can't remember what the fees, I don't remember, but I just think it was around 195 at that point,
yeah. So now,
with the all-in-one.
right. So now, through from 2021 all through 2022, you're doing velocity banking on the tool itself while also coming up with ways to increase the income. Right. So
Yep,
by so now fast forward to today, we're in 2023.
yep, yep.
What's owed on the all-in-one, and what have you done in terms of business? This is where I want to get into the fun part, is reason why we're actually on
Mhm.
camera recording now, because of some of the things that you've done in the last few months, right? And just the progress you made in that. So go through that a little bit.
Okay, so now since we have a new home, we got out of the all-in-one loan because we got a mortgage for this new home, right?
Okay.
So we're actually in the process right now of, we just literally renovated the home. So my husband, obviously being a kind of contractor painter, I should just show you. This is just kind of cool. If you, I hopefully it's not. I just got to show you this. This is one of my favorite like things that we did here. Okay, so
Uh,
this was all you could see. We still have some of the stuff out here that we're renovating, but this was all like wood oak that he turned, renovated the whole fireplace here and painted it all white. So we've done a lot of updates already. So the equity that we're going to have in this home is, we haven't even checked to see what it's be like. We just did all this in February, March. So we are back to kind of just stacking money in savings. Why we look to get, oh, did I lose you?
no, no, you're good. I was just
Oh,
showing the
okay.
audience the full view of that so they can
Yes.
see.
Okay. Well, this is one other thing I have to show you real quick because this was on my vision board. Okay. Our old home, when we used to walk in, was literally you walked in, and as soon as I would invite guests in, I had to shut the door to let them in because we had stairs right here. And so there was no space to welcome people. So my daughter and I, one of our things was like, we want a grand entryway. We want people when they walk into the house to feel that they are welcomed, right? And I'm not shutting the door on you right when you come in. So this is the new entryway. Sorry, it's lived in, and then this will be my office. You can see I'm Jimmy rigging things right now, but it's a real deal. There's some numbers I have on the board. I've been
Oh
working on a
yeah,
YouTube video. I don't have my studio set up yet, all of that. I mean, I'm just getting started.
I love
But this right here is just a vision that is now manifested. And before, if you would have told my husband and I, and even in 2016 when we had got our other home, that we would be living in our dream home by 2023, um, I I don't know in my mind if I would have been able to
it.
get there. And I was a person of faith, I mean, but it was just the money part. I didn't see how would we be able to afford this kind of a home.
Love it.
So anyway,
So now, are you at a point where so we gave up that debt tool, the all-in-one, and you also used it to get the property? Is that how that kind of happened?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So did we
because
sell it?
real
Is that
estate
what
is,
happened? You sell the
yes.
property?
So we
Oh,
ended up
okay.
selling. So we were thinking about keeping it, but it was just the way it all worked out. Some neighbors that were needing a bigger home, right, when we were moving here, like it was just one of those God things that you just don't even, it was just like all lining up, right?
Mhm.
So real quick, I just have to share this. My daughter and I, over that Christmas break, so this is just 2 months ago, 3 months ago, right? We went looking at Christmas lights, and we started to tell, this is our college student, who's in her freshman year, that Dad and I are kind of starting to dream of more space. I want to have an office, like just some of the things that we wanted, right? So we went looking at Christmas lights, and that's when we saw this house. And so I didn't even go and look at it on Zillow or anything. I just kind of thought, oh, yeah, that's a nice house, but we didn't even pursue it. So I'm a teacher, and I'm on my last day of work before our break, and my daughter texted and said, hey, Mom, do you want to go see the Bricky House tonight? We call it the Bricky House because it's all brick. And I said, well, Dad, has to coach tonight. I don't think he'll be able to meet us, and I would want Dad to come with us, right? And she said, well, it's at like 5:45. And I said, okay, let me text him. Long story short, we got here. And when we walked in, we like to renovate homes and fix them up and flip them. And we've been doing some of that now. So that's where we've put our money, is kind of into real estate and being able to earn passive income or work with investors to flip.
Oh,
And so
nice.
we saw the potential right away in this home. Yeah, so it came at the perfect time because if you remember at Christmas, here in the Midwest, we had a terrible storm come through. So we were basically the only offer on this home. And in our area, like houses are still going like that. Um, and so, long story short, on my husband and I's 25th anniversary, which, by the way, congratulations on your engagement.
I
It's so
thank
exciting.
you very much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're about 25, aren't you? I don't know, but we've been married,
27 now.
25 years.
27. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
27. Oh, that's
Hmm.
awesome. You're in a fun phase. And so anyway, on our 25th anniversary, we surprised the kids. Two of our two younger kids did not know we were getting a new house. They did not know this all happened. And so it's been quite an awesome story. And the day we got home from the inspection here on our anniversary, I got a text from a mom saying, you know, before this gets out public, I just want to let you guys know we're putting our house on the market. So this is January 3rd. We had not told even our neighbors. I don't even know if we had told my family yet that we were moving. It all happened within like 10 days. I mean, that's how fast this all lined up.
Wow.
And so, because we weren't expecting to move, we were thinking over the summer, you know, I'm a teacher, we'll have
Right.
time, like, and it just came. And like I
Mm.
said, we just knew it was the right opportunity. And knowing this area enough and living here, we knew the equity we would have and just the tool, you know, just all that we've learned and we'd be able to apply here. So anyway, it's an investment as well for us. But the I got the text from the mom and I was like, what are the odds of this? Like, they're putting their house on the market tomorrow. They want to stay in the area, but there are no homes available. And I knew our house was big enough to be what they were needing from their family move because one of my daughters babysits for them. So I let it sit for like a day and just a day. And the next day I text her and I said, hey, you know, this is so crazy, but we're in the same boat right now. And nobody knows we're moving. Our house isn't even on the market yet. But if you and your husband want to come take a look, let me know. So long story short, Denzel, that's who got our house. So it literally was just such a blessing for them. They know all of our neighbors.
Yeah.
We stayed in the neighborhood. We're just a mile away, gave us the more space we needed and wanted. And it's just showing people what's possible and showing it's been a huge thing for us in our mindset, right? Like, look at where we've been able to go. And if we did not know this strategy, I don't know that we would have been able to do this, you know?
Wow. Wow.
Um,
And
yeah.
that neighbor that moved into your old home, are they also like, did you like drop a seed in there? Like, hey, if you need help on, you know, paying this thing off, some debt
Yeah, right.
elimination.
Exactly. I've started my YouTube channel, so I actually wanted to have her on at some point. It just didn't work out yet because they just moved in March, so we had our house all
Okay.
the way. Like, this has all been so recent. Like, we literally
Wow.
just moved in here at the end of February. Yeah. But yeah, definitely. And I've been helping neighbors now who saw, right? They've watched us transform our story. They've watched this. And I do want to say, like, I'm not about like getting more and more and more. Like, that's not like my heart. And I really want that to come across because, you know, I lost my mom in 2021, and you can't take any of this stuff with you, right?
Mm.
This is so fleeting. So, but it's more about what it's done for my vision and wanting to help other people and the freedom. Yeah, we have a bigger space and we want to use it to bless and welcome others and to do some business ideas and things that we have. But my still heart behind everything, right, is to live. We
Mhm.
only have one shot to live and to impact people along the way and to bring hope and different possibilities and open up mindsets and shift maybe somebody who feels stuck, how you can move past that. You know, you were that cry for hope that we were looking for. Really were that cry for hope. And I know that there are people, that's why I know I have to teach this,
Yep.
because there are people just like me who are like, what are we going to do? We might have to short sale or foreclose on our home. And they might have a home equity line sitting there. If I don't tell people, I would, like, I just couldn't, it was like I couldn't keep this down. It just felt like it
Yeah.
has to come out of me
Wow.
because it's going to help people, right? And I felt like when I was suppressing it, like like in 2019, I was like, oh, I think I want to teach this, but I
Right.
didn't have the confidence at that time to be online. I have
Mhm.
had to go out of many comfort zones. And the way you go out of your comfort zone is by action, little action. So there's little reels every time I do one. It's not super comfortable. This is not, I'm getting more comfortable, but I just had to say, I don't care. I don't care anymore because this somebody needs this message. It's
Yep.
not about me.
You are a
right?
prime,
And
prime example of just hitting the red button on the phone and just recording, because I've seen the content, I've watched, and I'm like, oh yeah, she is winging it right now, and I just love it because
I am winging it.
your
Yeah.
your ideal client out there, that other mom, that other, husband, wife out there, like they also don't care about all the aesthetics. They're like, what the heck is this lady talking about? HELOC, debt limit, like her story. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, we're around the same age, same situation. I was in a short sale, or I'm about to face foreclosure, and she's telling me there's a solution and a way to get it done, and it's gonna look rough because they're in a rough situation. So to them, it's nothing. It's like, hey, as long as I can hear what she's saying, like I'm taking my notes, And so that's just
Mm-hmm.
amazing of what you've been doing over the last couple months, just getting the content out there. And it was a calling on my part to start planting seeds in some of my clients that at the slightest hint were like, I think I want to teach this, or I can't do what you do, Denzel. Or I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me lean in a little bit more here, because this person is illustrating characteristics that I was illustrating, and now I'm at a point where it can't just be me saying all of this information. I need to actually build up some leaders in my community
Mm-hmm.
with and the clients that I'm working with to say,
Yeah.
listen, I need you guys to go out there because you guys are actually more credible than me. I've never had a mortgage. I've never been in a short sale. I've never had a foreclosure. I've never even owned a HELOC before. I've never had any of these things, yet all these people are coming to me
Mm-hmm.
for it, where they really should be coming to my clients for it, that have lived it, have had the stress and overcame that stress and got spouse on board, got the kids on board, made the vision board. I mean, all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, however I can leverage my platform for my audience watching right now, like this is a call for leaders, and you're one of them, and you're out here, showing and having workshops at your house and doing trainings, one-on-ones. I mean, this is just insane. And what I
You know
love
what's so
about it, I love the ministry about what you're doing as well, because
yes.
you're like, look,
Yes.
we're generating income over here, passive, and it's feeding the lifestyle of how I want to intentionally live and impact these other parents, or whoever your ideal client is. I think it's women, certain types of women in
Mm-hmm.
situations that want to really come out of their comfort zone and be their full selves. So what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of lost my train of thought, but when my mom passed away, and I think I shared this with you on another call, but
Yeah.
I had a very spiritual encounter where we'll just say I was challenged to go back to the last time that I truly felt gratitude in my heart. And I was transported right back into the room. I had never been in a room. I've lost several dear people that I love, but I had never been in the room as somebody's transitioning from here to the next life. It was some of the most holy, sacred ground I could ever have had the privilege to be a part of. And in that moment, when I was transported back in the room with my dad and my sisters, my mom, this time, her body was on the bed, okay, but she was healed and whole and in heaven. Like I don't, I've never been there, right? But she was her healed and whole self. And my mom, you know bless her heart, like I just know that she wasn't truly free to be herself here on earth, just from some wounds and some trauma and some stuff she went through where she held back a lot. And I saw her as her vibrant, full, healed, and whole, just embracing herself. Like, I don't even have, it's hard to even put into words. And in that moment, what she said to me is she said, Amanda, you have to go for your dreams. There is nothing to fear. And see, one of my dreams, Denzel, like you just don't even know how much this has been in my core, was to teach this kind of stuff to people about finances. And once I found velocity banking, like this is what I want to teach, but I didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that thinking, oh, and I'm a teacher, so it sounds kind of weird, right? Because I teach
Right.
students every day, but it's a
Hmm.
different type of thing to put your vulnerable self out there. Like I can go teach my third graders math and reading, and I love it, and I love what I do. I'm still doing that career. I teach special ed, and it fills me up every single day. But I kept suppressing this desire. Oh, but I can't do YouTube, or oh my gosh, I don't want to put myself out there. What are people going to think? Or who would even want to, all that stuff that we feed ourselves, all that negative chatter, right? And I suppressed it. And in this moment, it was literally like something shifted in my whole core of my being. When my mom came and spoke that message over me, it was like the validation I needed. It was, there is nothing to fear. Who cares what people think? If it's helping somebody, it's going to help somebody. Um, and and I just got over myself. I don't know how else to say it, but
Yep.
I don't care. Like I'm gonna not be perfect. I'm not gonna say
Hmm.
everything perfectly, but that's the authentic piece that I was always drawn to you about, right? And that's where I'm still learning. Like if my YouTube videos aren't perfect, who cares? Like I hope people resonate with my heart and my
Yep.
spirit, and what my heart behind what I want to do is teach you how to run your money differently to bring freedom to you and your family. That's my passion and my heart. And since I have not suppressed it, I can't tell you like the life and the joy and the opportunities that come and the people I'm attracting, because I'm not suppressing my calling, right? I'm letting it flow out. And now it's like people are coming, and
Oh yeah.
and I'm putting myself out there, you
Yep.
know?
Hmm.
Um, but even so, like this is just so cool. Like my principal came to my training. Like
Oh
my
wow.
principal.
That's
You would have
cool.
told me like
Yeah.
I'd be teaching my principal a concept. Like
Hmm.
she's amazing, and she's one of those down to earth. You don't feel like she's just an amazing leader, really amazing leader.
Just think
But
about,
I thought, my goodness.
yeah, think about like that preparation. 2019, watching videos from some kid from somewhere you never even heard of, never we haven't even met in person yet, right? Like just
No, we haven't.
total strangers. 2019, all this preparation, how God, Holy Spirit, the Father is prepping you to now be able to speak to people that you may not have felt qualified to speak to in such an authority position, where you're now talking to your principal. The principal has to come down to the teacher level. They have to become a student again, and here you are,
She
a
is. Yeah.
teacher. I mean, this, had you not done all that pregame work, right? I talk a lot about velocity banking pregame work, but there's more pregame work
Yeah.
in terms of your business and planning and all this, the mindset. So had you not done 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, to now having your principal come, had you not done all that, she would not have been blessed with your gifts. She would have looked the other way, and who knows what financial position um, they would be in. And whoever other clients you're working with now, like, they would have not been able to access
Mhm.
your gift had we not done all that pregame work. So there's another call out to the people watching this that have, stayed this whole entire time listening to other people's stories like yourself, to say, you know what, you're right, Denzel, I got to step this up. And then these people know exactly who I'm talking to. I'm talking to exactly the people in our group that are trying to become coaches as well, just like yourself, that haven't started their YouTube channel because they're worried, or what do I talk about, or which should be the first video. I'm like, just record it, get it recorded, and I promise you, we can post it out once you've looked at everything. But the point is to start. We don't even necessarily have to put it out there just yet, but get the material recorded, documented, uploaded. You can unlist it and just have it stored in your studio, and just get enough footage until you're like, okay, I'm ready. But you're never
Mhm.
going to be ready if you don't
If you don't do it.
start,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, you have to take the action, right? It's like you can
Mm-hmm.
sit, and then this is where I was stuck because I was just sitting for all these years. Like once I got this concept, I was like, this is what I need to be teaching. And then I'd be like, I would get this close to, I can't even tell you how many
Oh.
and journals of like what I want to talk about and things I want to do. And then I would just suppress it. And I'd be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I would just start to believe believe all the thoughts, the
Mm-hmm.
negativity, the no, no, no. And, but it was like, what I realized is I can sit there and nothing's going to happen, right? Faith requires action. You can't, you can't
Oh.
just sit and do nothing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to take a step. And so that's what I just said. I'm going to take one step. Okay. Then I'm going to take the next step.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I just put this challenge out for the month of March. This is what you were talking about on my Instagram channel. And I just made a commitment to myself, just to myself. Every day I'm going to do, okay, we're in March Madness. So I called it Money March Madness. And I'm like,
Love
every single day, I am making a 31-day commitment to post something every day about finances or about my life, something like that.
it. I love it.
And there were days where I was just like, I don't feel like doing this today. Like I got some hard news about a dear
Mm-hmm.
friend, or, just real life was happening. This is not what I want to do, is put myself on camera right now, but I made that commitment, right? And I just said, it's the small little steps. Then I also, in that same month, had two workshops at my house. Now I only had like one, I had two people, one I had four, and to me, sometimes I can get hung up on like, well, I don't have a million followers, or, and that's where I just have to take a step back. It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
I'm planting those seeds right now. And to me, it's about who can this impact more so than how many people can I have follow me. I think that's something that people could get caught up in as well, right? Is like, well, I don't
Absolutely.
have that many followers. Well, I don't have that many followers, but it doesn't mean you can't make an impact, even if it's a small number. You could be changing a whole family tree. Like, that's a huge impact that could go on for, like, you've helped change our family tree, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and so it's not always about the number of people you're influencing, it's about the impact you can
Impact.
make in the people, but you have to be willing to go out of your comfort zone. So that would be my challenge to anybody on that fence, is go. It's not comfortable. I'm not going to say it is, but the more you do it and you put in those reps, you're going to get more comfortable. And I have a lot of growth to still do and a lot of things to get better in,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm putting it out there and I'm not suppressing it anymore.
I
Right?
love it. I love it. So tell us about your business now, like the core of it. What are these workshops that you're doing? What's the
Yeah.
the channel? Give us the name. Where do we find you? All that good stuff. Like give
Yeah.
us the
Thank
breakdown
you.
of
Okay.
your business now. What does it look like, and what are you looking to do with this? And who do you serve? Give us the whole
Oh,
layout of your
yes. Oh
business.
my God. This is like, I'm just so excited to get the ball rolling here. So, as I mentioned, my mom was a huge inspiration. So, my channel is called Inspire Her with Amanda. And so it's just inspire with HER. That's what I want to do, is I want to inspire her to freedom and finances, and also in our mindset. So money and mindset, kind of my two things I want to focus on. My main thing I'll be doing is teaching velocity banking, but then also helping people overcome things, right, with their mindset.
Love it.
And so you can find me on Instagram. It's just my name, Amanda Pride 23, on Instagram. And then my YouTube is Inspire Her with Amanda. And I'm just getting it started. So I think I only have 3 videos out there, but I have, like, I'm working on one right now. I just showed you, have some things in the works. And then I should have, this is one of the things I didn't think about. So those newbies, if you do a live workshop, have it recorded, because I could have put that right on there, but I didn't
What?
do that.
Yes,
So,
yes. Those that very next live workshop you have at your house, you are the minute you record you speaking, it doesn't matter how many people are in the room, because the camera usually is on you, so nobody knows the amount of people that
is
are
there.
there. You
Mhm.
automatically become a professional speaker the moment you start recording yourself speaking, not like this, right? Because people understand this is just a collaboration or this is like a podcast,
Yeah.
but it's the
Mhm.
moment like your full body, you're talking at someone, right? You're looking at people other than the camera, for some reason, whether it's agencies, companies, other business owners, churches, even marketing teams, immediately translate, oh, this is a keynote speaker, professional speaker, what are they talking about? I need to lean in further, because it's like they're watching
Just,
as if they're in the room, right? It's amazing. They're watching as if they're in the room. So you definitely need to record that next workshop that you do. That is my challenge to you. Get that documented, because that is gold. That is gold right there. And I've experienced it for myself. The moment I started going out there and speaking and getting asked to speak at churches and different locations and things like that, and I recorded it, oh my goodness, people start taking you more seriously for some weird reason. Whatever, there's something about the stage, there's something about having the mic, there's something about other people watching while that person is watching. They're like, this person's probably, legit. And then if they lean a little further and they do a more due diligence, then they get to know, your core service and what you're offering. So yeah, continue. Sorry.
yeah, so I really, it's similar to you, where I really feel called to inspire women. A lot of women are probably like myself, where they're at some points of your life you might be staying at home, so you're kind of the one in charge of finances and kind of running the bills, things like that. Not always, I don't want to say that for sure. There's tons of working moms, and I was that for a long time as well. But we kind of tend to kind of oversee some of that for some families. So definitely educators. Oh my goodness, because educators, I just want to show how they can. I'm working with so many younger educators now that come out with student loans, and I'm like, so that was some who were saying, but Amanda, I don't have a HELOC. I'm interested in what you're teaching. I'm like, oh, so that was a video I'm working on. It doesn't matter. I can show you how to leverage your credit card, you know? So there are ways you can do velocity banking without having a home equity line of credit. So I want to help young educators. I want to help them see, what they could do even in their summers to maybe earn some more income and just think a little outside of the box for them in that way. So educators are definitely near and dear to my heart, just being an educator and teaching this to them, because a lot live paycheck to paycheck. We don't make a ton of money in the field of education, right?
Hmm.
But there are ways that so I really want to help women. I want to help educators. Those are kind of my two main passions, I would say, for sure. And moms. I'm a mom,
Love it.
so
Love it.
of
Yeah.
course,
No, it's
yeah.
my mission in a way has become your mission. You've customized it, and just know that your impact is going to be even stronger because of that relation. Like, you can relate to exactly what they're struggling in, whereas my position, I've just been the child observing a mom for so many years and seeing the struggle, and me wanting to help solve those solutions. And I just said, maybe this is my calling. I don't know. Like, that's literally how it was when I first started. Nobody was like, Denzel, you should go out and help women. Like, it wasn't even,
Yeah.
no one told me to do that. It was from the Father purely, just speaking into my life, and I just ran with it, and people were resonated, and they ran with it, and look at you running with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so cool to see this happen. And again, this is another call out for those that are watching. There's another mom watching, just like Amanda, and you've spoken to me so many calls. I can think of 5 names right now, 5 women I've been working with, 5 men that I've been working with.
Oh,
I'm like, hey, now is the time. Look at Amanda. This is an example. Go to her channel, look at what she's doing, go to the Instagram, look at what she's doing. Check out Christy Van as well, who has been
yes. I've
making
been watching
videos.
her, and oh,
Man,
she's doing
she's just
awesome,
like,
rocking it. Good
I'm like,
job, Christy.
yes,
Oh my
yes.
golly.
It's just so cool to see it.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, because and I think sometimes that's where the abundant mindset happens as well, because like, well, Denzel's reaching everybody. Do you know how many people are out there? Like, we're all going to hit and resonate with different people. So like, I want to cheer each other on, right?
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, yes, how many more people? Because we're all going to connect and resonate with different people and attract different people and things like that. So that's where sometimes I thought, oh, there's not really a need. But no, there is, because, yeah,
There's no
That abundant
competition.
mindset.
Amanda, there's no
Mm,
competition. Let me prove it real quick. When I go to my
okay.
analytics, on YouTube, um, over the lifetime, starting in 2018 till now,
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
have I have 3,980,598 views so far, right? So nearly 4 million
Okay.
views.
Okay.
Of those 4 million views, 47,902 are subscribers, right?
Yep. Okay.
So they click the
Mm-hmm.
red button and they might have liked the video. Okay. Of that 47,902 and of the 4 million, I only have a little over 7,000 people on my email list, which means that they went to my website and then they filled out a contact form. So I've captured their information. Of that 7,000 plus people, only 1,500 people or less have bought something from me at this point. Only 1,500 or less have bought something directly from me. It was coaching, a call, they bought my program or long-term coaching, whatever it was. So that, guys, like, you could be capturing people off of my channel alone by you simply having a channel. And then by you simply having a channel, you're giving those other millions of people that saw my channel and maybe did not resonate, and then they see you in the recommended videos. And this is exactly how I increased really fast, because prior to me, you had Kana J.
Mm-hmm.
Wallace. Kana J. Wallace is another velocity banking influencer. You had Mike Adams, the Kwok
Yep.
brothers. You had what's his name? What's his name? VIP Financial Education.
Oh yeah. Matt
Matthew, yeah,
Moore. Yeah.
Matthew Pillmore, and then Laura Pitko. Laura Pitko, the only like female I know talking velocity banking prior to you now and Christy. Like, it was just her years back. Five people. I became the sixth or the seventh talking about velocity banking, and I was showing up on every one of their recommended videos, because YouTube is just handing out another option. And because maybe those five people weren't posting as much, and here I am coming on the scene now, I'm posting every single day because I'm new, I'm trying to get out there. YouTube saying these people are watching these videos and then they ran out of content to watch. Boom, there's Denzel. And then understand that as I grow, guess what? I used to be posting every single day. Now I'm not. Now I'm only posting 3 times a week. So now you get a Christy Van on the scene after they've consumed all of Denzel's content and the other people. Now they have Christy. They're like, oh, what is this lady saying? Oh, and now they're just binge watching her. So when I say there's literally no competition, there isn't. There's literally a handful of us in the space for the last 2, 3 decades. And then on top of that, the people that are
Wow.
in the space, people that are watching, a lot have not taken action yet. Why? Because they don't resonate with those people yet, or maybe they can't afford those prices or services, or they just haven't been, like, they haven't had the spark yet. And so someone like an Amanda, someone like a Christy Van, someone like Minor Ramos, and others who have started YouTube channels, when they hear their
Mm-hmm.
voice, right? They
Mm-hmm.
People will become. I told Christy this. I said people will become your client just because of your accent. Just because of your accent. I know
Yeah,
people.
she's great.
I know. I have a lot of Spanish clients.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, Rodriguez. Oh, done. So it's like not even a question. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Anda, just
That rapport.
people look at aesthetics. People look at how you look like, and they're like, she's just like me. Where's she at? Columbus, Ohio? Oh, how many people live in Columbus, Ohio? That's your whole base right there, right? And so when I say there's no competition, I just gave you guys the evidence. Go out there. It's a blue
Wow.
ocean right now. and it's going to stay a blue ocean for decades to come. This velocity banking is this strategy itself. It's still so foreign, like nobody knows it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just ripe for the taking. Nobody's preventing you from doing this. There's like a little bit of some headaches with banks, obviously, because they don't have the education. So now you can just walk up in there and say, "Hey, I want to do velocity banking. Give me a HELOC." So it doesn't work like that, obviously,
Right. Yeah.
because they don't have that training, and it's not profitable to have a
Mm-hmm.
whole department train their clients on that. It's just not profitable, it's not feasible. But it is profitable
Right.
for the average household to have that in your
Mm-hmm.
arsenal, and you can use it,
Mm-hmm.
you can turn it on and off. That's the cool part too. Like right now in your case, when you basically turned off velocity banking, you traded in that all in one. So now you have the mortgage just solving for a different purpose now, right? Is that the case?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yep.
do you plan on getting a HELOC on this new home at some point? What's your plan with that?
Yeah, once because we renovated, so our equity's going up. So we're going to give it about 6 months and kind of look at that point where rates are at, and things like that. But we also have like a pretty large credit card limit. And now that we know this stuff and looking at how we run our money now, because it's been weird not to have that. So in the meantime, can use our credit card because we know
Yeah.
how to do this,
Yeah.
right? So, and we've kind of stocked a whole bunch of cash and savings for right now, while we're kind of waiting to see what our next moves are,
Okay.
for that. So
Any
that's kind of where
any main objectives? So like you mentioned, now we're
yeah,
doing fix and flip in real estate. Husband has the continued painting business slash contracting, so he's still
yep,
doing that. You're still teaching
yep,
part time, right?
yep.
And you're
No, full time.
okay,
Sorry,
full time
full time
teaching,
teacher.
but also
Yep.
building your business and creating content.
Hmm.
So we've got about 4 or 5 streams going at this point, right?
Yep, and we in August bought our first triplex. So we own a
Nice.
triplex where we have three renters. Yep, so that also has increased our cash flow. It's cash flowing, I think about $1,000 a month. So it's a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good return.
we definitely need
It,
a session offline. We definitely need to, because you can
yeah.
teach me some
So
things.
yeah, yeah, we're learning a lot. So we're newbies still, but that's how you start to learn, right? You got to do it. And so we've learned some things the hard way. We've learned some things that like flips that aren't good. And we've gone through it. It's not like it's all been a cakewalk. Um, but yeah, so we were enjoying that and kind of growing that right now. Helping our daughter paying for college, so that's been a focus. Let's see, what else? Well, we want to have multiple streams of income. So I actually have a meeting with Alex coming up since we have
Oh,
some of
okay,
that money just sitting
okay.
there. I have a call with him on Monday. So that's another thing. We would like to, by the end of this year, have like 10 different streams of income. That's kind of our goal for 2023.
Hey, I love it.
So
Love it.
yeah. And so that's where we're at.
Love it,
Yeah.
love it. Any final words for my audience, for my moms that have been watching this all the way through, when they get to see another mom on screen, and just your experience? Any final words you want to, because those are the people that
Yeah.
I know are taking the action. And shout out to the dads too. Shout out to the dads that are watching this,
Yeah.
the young folks. Shout out to anyone that is taking action right now in your finances.
Mhm.
You're watching 40, 50 1 hour clips on my channel. I know it's hard. I know it. I know in this low attention span environment we live in today, but when it comes to your finances, there is no short reel that can
Yeah.
solve for what you need to solve for. You need a full blueprint analysis, and there's people like myself and Amanda out there that want to sit with you for hours on end and make it happen. And because
Yeah.
we know what that fruit would look like if we're able to invest a few hours now. Because when I think about it on my end, Amanda, if I'm to go
Yeah.
back at all of our calls, I'd say it's about 10, maybe 15 hours of my time on those calls. I want to say we've had about maybe 10, 15 phone calls over the last, from 2019 all the way up until now. It's probably safe to say maybe a little more. But in reality, it's that's only 10, 15 hours of my time for you, it's hundreds of hours on your finances. But
Mm-hmm.
isn't that crazy? Just the multiplication of what my time, what your time can do for the person watching this video right now. That impact. Like it's just that stuff blows my mind. Those numbers we don't read,
Yeah.
those numbers we don't calculate, that the client doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
aware isn't even aware of until they look back and they're like, oh wow, like they thought I was putting in all this time, and in reality I am, just spread out over hundreds of clients, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
once you've mastered your gift, you mastered your skill and your craft, what takes me 30 minutes, under an hour to figure out, may take the person watching at home by themselves 50, 100 hours. And so
Oh, goodness.
what
Yeah.
what what Amanda and I are trying to do is cut that time by saying, "Hey, reach out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure this out
Yeah.
together." Right? And I'm saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
reach
because
out to
it is.
Amanda. Let's she'll help you."
Yeah.
Great.
Because it is such a different way to bank. It's like a new banking strategy, right? And so it's scary, kind of those. I remember those first things, like feeling so much hope, but like, oh, this is a big move. And so some of the clients I've been working with, I'm like, well, if you don't like it, you can just put your money right back in your checking account. But I guarantee you, once you start practicing this, you're going to be like it was just so cool in the workshop to see like light bulb moments go off, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting it now, like this the like, because they were like, wait, what are you, and then you just start to see the light bulbs going off. So what I would say to your audience is Denzel is the real deal. And he is a young man of integrity. He's put in tons of time and has given so much value and so much of his time as a ministry, and just pouring out to really want to help moms. And so if you're a mom out there and you have not started, utilizing this strategy or made that call to Denzel, make the call. Now is the time. We don't know what tomorrow brings, but get ready. Get ready now, right? And I remember so many of your videos, like, if we're doing the work now, if a big recession comes and all these things, we're prepared. So like when that was such a blessing when COVID hit, right? It was like, oh my gosh, we put in the time, we put in the work. Now look, we're not stressed right now. we
Mhm.
we can actually enjoy 3 weeks. It felt like, I mean, I was teaching, so I wasn't like just sitting there doing nothing, but we had family time that we would have not been able to have if we were stressed and didn't know how to, we were just able to relax and enjoy that time as a family. So put in the work now. Reach out to Denzel now. If you've been on the fence, he will help you. Look at what he's done for our family, and
Love
Denzel, I literally, I don't have enough gratitude to even express to you, because if you wouldn't have taken that action, right? I, this wasn't, I'm not kidding when I say you were an answer to prayer. Like, I really, like, only God knows where I was at that time. And you were who I was brought to. And that to me was not a coincidence, right? But if
divine
you
appointment.
said, oh, yeah, the divine appointments. And if you would have said, no, I'm just 22 years old. I think you were at the time. I don't even
Yeah.
know. I remember thinking about, I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
humble on myself. But you were wise beyond your years. And we all know that. We always say Denzel's like a 40-something-year-old in like a younger body, right? Um, you're wise beyond your years.
Yeah.
And now you have lots of clients that you've helped to all different ages. But anyway, that's
Mhm.
what I would say. Take the time, invest in yourself. We're not promised tomorrow. This is not a scare thing or anything like that, but prepare yourself now. Get things ready now. I think finances are one of those things you just keep kind of like pushing it off. It's kind of like taxes, right? Oh, who wants to sit down and do their taxes? But when it can just open up. Like if you take the time and invest, it can open up just so much hope and so much opportunity if you take the time now to get it organized and start utilizing the velocity banking strategy. Maybe
I
there's a business you want to do
Yeah.
that, I'm sure there's moms that you've been talking to that they're
They
right
know
there,
who
and
they
there's just
are.
like that fear.
They know who they
Yes,
are.
so
They're
I'm
gonna
speaking
comment
to you.
on
We're
this video.
today.
They know who
Yes.
they are.
Okay.
I can't wait. I
So we
can't wait.
want you to say, I'm doing it now. There's no more waiting. There's nothing to fear. You have
Hmm.
a message and a purpose that you're supposed to share with the world. So do it now.
Oh, yes. We'll close out right there. That is
All
beautiful.
right.
I'll have links in the comment section in the chat for those to reach out to Amanda on the screen as well, so you guys know where to find her. Shout out to you, everything that you're doing. God bless you, and I'm so
You.
looking forward to the immense amount of fruit that you're gonna produce over the next 5 years. Just looking back over from 2019 to 2023, we're just beginning. Like this is this crazy. All the amount of work we've done, we haven't even started yet in terms of what you're going to be able to build over the next 5 years. So when we look back on the decade, oh my goodness. And I can't wait to
That's
have the
going to be
opportunity
awesome.
to meet in person, give you a big hug, meet the whole family, and maybe even have a whole workshop together. Who knows, right? But that
Oh, be
possibility is
awesome.
there, right? The possibility is there. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being a part of
Thank
this
you.
and recording
Thank
with me
you.
today. And God bless everyone else. We'll be talking soon.